Trials continue for many of the Capitol insurrectionists. On Tuesday, NBC4 Washington's Scott MacFarlane, the leading reporter that's covering the trials, reported on these chuds who decided to attempt to represent themselves in court. And, well, predictably, it went badly. Here's his report.
Brian Mock, who's accused by the feds of an assault against police January 6th. He's pleaded not guilty, but is serving time in pretrial detention. 100 days so far, he says, many of them most recently at the D.C. jail. He told the judge today he wants to represent himself. He says, quote, about the feds, I have found flat out lies and fraud. That's not me being crazy or extreme. And he asked the judge today to reopen his detention hearing. The judge responded, you can't reopen a detention hearing. You have to file a new motion for a bond review, something a lawyer could have instructed Mock about before today's hearing. Nevertheless, the court has scheduled a new hearing about the issue of attorney representation. That'll happen next week. There's also the case of Pauline Bauer of Pennsylvania, who's pleaded not guilty in her January 6 case and recently told the court she's a sovereign citizen and seeks to represent herself. In one of her filings, she says, I challenge the court's jurisdiction and dominion over a living soul. Also the case of Zach Alum. He's accused of smashing the window of the House Speaker's lobby near where Ashley Babbitt was shot January 6th. He's pleaded not guilty in his case, but Alum recently told the judge in a court proceeding, I will represent myself. I want prosecutors to offer me a deal now. About the prosecutor, he says she needs to start doing her job and offer me a deal. In his most recent court filing from a defense lawyer, they update the court that plea discussions are underway. Finally, let me tell you about the case of Eric Beauchene of upstate New York. Beauchene also asks to represent himself. In one of his recent filings, he signs the record and appears to put a red fingerprint next to his signature. His case is pending. The judge has agreed to let Beauchene represent himself, at least for now. But Beauchene says he charges fees to the court. $75,000 for court appearances. $50 million for urine or blood samples. The judge has rejected this fee argument. But he also says he charges $500,000, $500,000, for fingerprints. Is the man who appears to have signed his most recent court filing with a red fingerprint.
Oh, okay. So great reporting by MacFarlane here. I love it. Perfect newscaster voice. So now here's the fun arguments, right? I love these arguments. I am my own lawyer, and I will be charging fees to the court. You realize that's not how that works, right? Literally, like the court does not pay lawyers. You know who pays the lawyers? You do. So are you now charging yourself $50 million? Come on. And now look, the exception, of course, is public defenders. Public defenders are paid by the government to defend you. But you yourself cannot declare yourself a public defender of yourself and then charge the court for you to represent yourself. That's ridiculous. That's not how this works. These are some of the dumbest people on the planet. They really, oh God, they really are. And then of course, there's Brian Mock, as he mentioned, saying that I found flat out lies and fraud. How? That's got to be very impressive while you've been in 100 days of pretrial detention. I would love to see how you pulled that off. Honestly, like how did you go find the fraud when you're sitting in jail? Jackass. And why? And by the way, they keep talking about this fraud, right? Oh, we found fraud. We found fraud. It's everywhere. Look at the fraud. Look at the fraud. All you have to do, you could string a dead cat and you just run into fraud. How come nobody ever really has any evidence to back that up? How come every time that this was taken to court, Rudy Giuliani would not present the so-called evidence? Yeah, I wonder why that is. Oh, that's right, because you can't lie in court. Hearsay is not acceptable. That's not evidence. They don't have evidence. They don't have evidence at all. It's so ridiculous. It's so incredibly silly. My favorite, though, is going to Pauline Bauer, right? Who demanded that the authorities Drop all charges against my vessel. Your vessel. What does she bring a boat? She just sail right into the Capitol building? Is what's going on here? No, I get it, right? Vessel, body, it is my sovereign spirit vessel. Thank you. Okay, go get your healing crystals, all right? And just calm down. You try to generate a positive aura here. Okay, Pauline. No, she's a sovereign. Again, a lot of these people are so-called sovereign citizens, so they sit there and get to make demands, right? I demand that you drop all the charges. On what authority? On what authority? Come on. You don't have any authority. You were literally at the Capitol building, and you shouldn't have been because you broke into it and started smashing things. You're not part of a tour group, okay? You weren't just there to look at the artwork. You were there to try to stop the certification of a lawful election, an election that you happen to lose. But I know they're gonna throw their fits, and they're gonna cry, and now apparently they've decided the best course of action is to represent themselves. Oh, you want to represent yourself, huh? You want to be your own lawyer? You want to play a lawyer? All right, have at it. Have fun with that one. That's going to work out fantastic. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. Wonderful. Wonderful.
And then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
They're smart people. They're smart people. Just like Donald Trump. You got this, champ. Go get him. Go get him. Look, I think we can all agree at this point, they did not send their best. Anybody dumb enough to invade the Capitol building for Donald Trump is probably better off in a padded room or a cell somewhere anyway, away from the public, for their safety as well as ours. Not only are they stupid, but also incredibly dangerous. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.